Happy spooky season, everyone. I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I love dressing up and going to parties and all that spooky stuff. I also love autumn in general, but that's besides the point. Tonight, I'm gonna share some Halloween stories. 'Tis the season. I just recently moved out of my mom's house and I don't have any Halloween experiences here just yet. So I'm gonna be sharing stories from my younger years instead, and maybe one or two from adulthood. But before we get into it, since this is my first Halloween at my own place, I feel so weirdly grown up. Now I'm the one opening the door and giving candy to small children. It's kind of surreal not being on the receiving end anymore, because I always thought I was gonna be a kid forever and I would be trick-or-treating all the time. But anyways, if your elementary and or middle school was cool and swag like mine was, they hosted some sort of Halloween festivity every year. We had this thing called Fright Night, where my school would borrow the cafeteria of a high school on the other side of town because ours wasn't big enough, and we had a Halloween party there. Was anyone here into Ever After High when they were younger? I was Briar Beauty for this particular Halloween party. I'm telling you, when I saw the costume at Party City, I lost my fucking marbles. I made my mom buy it immediately. Fast forward and it's the night of the Halloween party. I'm doing cartwheels because I'm so excited to show everyone my costume. But here came my first challenge. The stairs. If you've seen Briar Beauty's dress, I'll pull it up right now, the skirt part kind of looks like an unbloomed rose. It was fine to walk and kind of run in, but the second I saw those stairs, it was game over. For some reason, the school's cafeteria was on the second or third floor, so I had to walk up 2 to 3 flights of stairs. I had my mom hold my hand while I walked up them sideways, and it kind of took me 10 minutes because I didn't want to rip the skirt, but I made it to the top. My second challenge. No one knew who I was. Oh my god, your costume's so pretty. Are you a fairy? No. A flower? How'd you even get that? Everyone I interacted with thought my costume was really pretty, but didn't know who I was dressing up as. Nobody knew what Ever After High was, which I think is a bit blasphemous. Third and final challenge. Bullies. My best friend, let's call her Audrey, was also at Fright Night. I believe she had dressed up as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. She had her hair in braids and she wore her little dress, and she even had the signature ruby shoes. But something I heard from a lot of the other girls were just a bunch of nitpicks about her costume. I think her dress is too short, or her glasses mess up the whole costume. Girl, be for real. This is literally an elementary school Halloween party. Nobody gives a crap. We're here to eat a crap ton of candy and desserts and hope and pray we win the costume contest. That's it. We were literally 9 years old. Imagine being a 4th grader and being so obsessed with another person's costume. Girl, chill. The next year, I was a fox, which was probably a horrible idea because that "What Does the Fox Say" song was still pretty prevalent. But even though I couldn't catch a break with that, this was probably the best Halloween I've ever had. At the time, I lived in an apartment complex, and the building that my family lived in was really close to the other buildings that my brother's friends lived in. Since I didn't really have any of my own school friends that lived in the complex, I just befriended my brother's friends, and I really liked them. I actually had a crush on one of them, but that's whatever. It rained a tiny bit this Halloween, but that didn't bother us. We wandered around the other buildings for a little bit, but then slowly realized that we couldn't enter all the buildings, which meant less candy for us. But one of my brother's friends didn't give up. There was an elementary school or daycare or something beside the apartment complex. We just had to go through a patch of woods first. I fully believe that we had no fear because we entered those woods without hesitation. Now that I'm looking back at this, it could have ended way worse, but we survived and made it to the school. At first, I was a little bit confused. Why are we at the school? There's no one here. Dude, we're not here for the school. He then led us to the hedges on the greater left side of the school and brought us through a conveniently child-sized opening. Behold! Before us laid hills on hills on hills of houses. Guys, we've found the cul-de-sacs. I don't think I've ever run faster. Through the occasional light showers, we made our way from house to house, receiving king-size candy at each door. I ended up becoming a little too tired to keep up with the boys, but we found each other eventually and we all went home right at curfew. It sounds like a super generic Halloween, but running through neighborhoods with my brothers and friends and getting the most candy ever made it the best Halloween. And I haven't experienced a Halloween that has topped that yet. In sophomore year, my school had this thing called Trunk or Treat, where people signed up to have their cars sit in rows along the parking lot, and they were decorated and had candy and spooks and stuff. Tori's mom loves Halloween, so she went all out for her trunk. She made it mythology theme, if I remember correctly. Tori's mom was Medusa, and Tori and I were gonna be people turned into stone, which meant we had to cover ourselves in gray body paint. What was really funny was that there was a basketball game or something at the gym right before the event. So when we were trying to leave the bathroom to go back outside, we had to walk past the side of the bleachers, and everyone saw us. Even our chemistry teacher was there, and she gave us this cheeky little grin. Another funny part is that this kid in our school wanted to make a video showcasing all the cars and all the fun everyone was having. So there's a part in the video with Tori in a wig and her literally breaking it down. At the end of the day, though, I stole an entire bag of candy from someone's car, and Tori's mom won first place. The years after that just involved me chaperoning my sister and her friends on their Halloween endeavors. This story specifically did not take place on Halloween, but it's whatever. Before I moved out, we lived super close to an amusement park, so during the Burr months, they'd get all spooky and scary, and patrons could come during their after hours and go through haunted houses and get spooked by people dressed up as zombies and vampires and stuff. I think I was a high school senior at the time, and my sister and I were being dropped off at the amusement park. She told me that it was just going to be her and like 2 other kids. Come to find out that like 6 or 7 other children were gonna be there. Imagine having to chaperone like 8 6th graders. I think what made things worse was that all the children wanted to hold my hands through the haunted houses, but I was like, guys, I only have 2 hands. And while we were in there, they legit would not move. Gabby, hold my hand! I literally cannot. You cannot just stay still just because I can't hold your freaking hand. Of course, I got spooked because things jumping out unexpectedly made me shriek, so I guess I was more surprised than anything. But the only thing that genuinely scared me was this one room. It had a bright red light, and in the middle of the room was this dude standing next to an old TV on the floor. The man wore all black and had this black, weird goat mask, but its eyes were just pure white. Like, I don't know, but that literally put the fear of God into me. Anyways, we rode some of the other rides that were open, and I had fun regardless. Last year, I was a freshman in college, and obviously I wasn't gonna go back home for Halloween. But since I was dorming in the middle of a major city, there were Halloween parties left, right, and center. I was dorming with Tori and this other girl. Let's call her Ruin. I don't really remember where Tori was at this time, but Ruin's friend group had just dropped her a couple days prior, and she was about to go to a frat party on her own. I was chilling with this dude I was seeing at the time, and he was like, well, we can't just let her go by herself. I kind of didn't like Ruin, but she was like 5'4" and could probably be pushed over by a small breeze. Ugh, fine. I hate frat parties. Me and Tori went to one once, and it was okay, I guess. But I never wanted to go to one again. But I really didn't want something too bad to happen to Ruin, so I just caved and put on this like fallen angel costume. You have to dress sexier. What do you mean? I hate frat parties solely because if you want to get in, you either need an invite or you need to wear as little as socially possible. So me, Ruin, this guy I was seeing, and one of our other friends, let's call her Queen, traveled through the stupid inner city traffic and make it to the other side. But after being there for like 8 minutes, maybe, I already wanted to go home. The dude I was seeing was basically just using us as a way to get into the frat houses, because technically guys that weren't a part of the frats weren't allowed in, and I don't think I've ever felt more objectified in my entire life. I'll explain the rest of the story in more detail in a college storytime video or something, but my friend Danny saved my ass by getting me an Uber straight home. Shout out to Danny for being a real one. A week or so before Halloween the same year, my college was having a Halloween rave. I like parties organized by schools because I feel a lot safer and a lot more confident. I went to the party with Danny and a couple of our old friends, and coincidentally, Danny and I's costumes kind of matched. But anyways, this party was so fun. For some reason, I become a whole other person on the dance floor. So when no one else was dancing, guess who was? After the party was over, we went back to our friend's dorm. We hung out on the floor and whatnot. But I had class the next morning, so I had to go to bed. This year, Tori and I are hosting our own Halloween party. The two of us have our own place and everything. And this will be my first time hosting a house party. I'm really excited because Halloween is my absolute favorite holiday, and I'm so glad I get to be spending it with my favorite people for another year. I hope everyone had or is having a great Halloween. I was so excited to make this video, but I actually had trouble trying to figure out the costume I wanted to draw my little Sona in. I just chose something basic, you know, the witch. The witch looks cute, I'm not gonna lie. Once again, thank you to all my patrons. You guys are so swag. Thank you to everyone that joined my Discord server and hung out during the game night. Update as I'm recording this. I recorded this audio like 2 weeks ago, and it is now 2 weeks later, and the game night didn't end up happening because I had to pick up somebody's shift because somebody called out sick. So I didn't get home in time, and I had like a shit ton of homework to do. So yeah. But biggest thank you to all my viewers and subscribers. I wouldn't have made it this far without you guys. We're slowly but surely making our way to 1,000 subs. Oh my god. Okay, update number 2. We're at 1,000 subscribers. Oh my goodness. Currently, if I pull my phone out, I think we're at 1,070 something, which is still like really freaking slay. Like, thanks guys. So next video is gonna be a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions for me, if you want to know more about art, or if you just want to get to know me in general, feel free to drop down a couple questions down below. I do have a community post out already right now. So if you want, you could drop questions down there too. It doesn't really matter. I'll see all of them anyways. But yeah, cool. Thanks guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and tell your friends, and I will see you guys later. Happy Halloween!